Does your wife or girlfriend not really want you? There's a reason why. I'm going to talk to you about what that is and what the magic ingredient is to actually get her to want you and desire to be with you. You might see other relationships where a woman is really into a man and you wonder, why can't that be us? Why can't that be me? There's a reason, and the good news is a lot of that is in your control. You can create passion and you can do something to help a woman want you. I'm going to talk about what that is, so watch to the end of this video. When I was a freshman in college, I could not get a girlfriend. I did not know how to get girls. They just didn't like me, and I thought I was a pretty decent looking guy. Until one day, one thing changed. Something completely shifted for me. I was sitting in the library and I remember thinking, what's my problem? Why isn't this working for me? And I thought, you know what? I'm going to embrace rejection. I'm going to enjoy getting rejected for a little while because I could tell that I was scared of it. I needed to face that fear. So I decided I'm going to step into it. And that did something for me. It helped me gain the most important thing that women are looking for, and that's confidence. I no longer had that fear of rejection, and confidence came into me. And what do you know? Girls started liking me. I had another friend who was really good at getting girlfriends, but really bad at keeping girlfriends. I swear he got dumped 100 times. And I was looking at him and I was thinking, why? What is going on? One thing would happen when he'd get in relationships with his girlfriends. He became needy. He needed his girlfriend for his own self-worth and his own validation. He started to use them, and he wasn't a confident man in the relationship. So the first thing and the main thing to get women to want you is confidence. The most beautiful woman does not go for the scared, fake weakling. It's just not how it works. She goes for the man who knows who he is, who understands his power, who is confident in who he is. Confidence is not arrogance. It's not being pompous. It's not being acting as if you're tough. It's none of that stuff. In fact, all of that stuff is showing a lack of confidence. Now, some women fall into the trap and think, well, that's a confident man. And they get in a relationship with a man who's faking it, who's acting like they have confidence. But over time, the passion dies. They don't want to be close to that man who's faking it. They want a man with real strength. They want a man with real confidence. Confidence is not being compliant. It's not being arrogant. It's about being you. It's loving who you are and understanding who you are and learning how to be authentic in a relationship. A confident man is honest. They're open. A confident man can hold space for a woman, for her emotions, can empathize with her, and really connect deeply with her. A confident man can deal with discomfort. They can face conflict and ultimately show up in a relationship. Confidence is an energy thing. You can feel it from somebody when they're truly confident. You can be confident and humble at the same time. That's really, really attractive to a woman. All of my content is about relationships, being a stronger man, and being able to connect to your spouse in deeper, more real ways. If that's what you want, then subscribe to my channel. Let's talk about the process it's going to take if you're not showing up confident and you want to show up confident in your relationship. The first thing that you need to do is to understand your fears and your shame. Get to know those things that undermine your confidence. Now, they might be kind of unconscious. They might automatically just be there because you've lived in them for so long. So you got to take a step back and evaluate your life. Look at the outcomes of what you're getting. Maybe your wife does not want to be close to you. Maybe you can't get a girlfriend. Well, think about why. How are you creating that? What fear is in the way so that you can't create connection with a woman? You need to act against that shame and stop the unconfident behaviors. Acting fake, manipulating, lying, all of those things will feed a narrative that you're not okay, that you're not enough. And you'll believe that deep, deep down. When you start acting against your fears, facing your shame, then you're going to start to feel that you're okay as you are, that you can show up authentic and you can show up confident. Quick story about a friend of mine. His name was Peter, and he felt very unconfident at work. And so he'd go to work every day, and his boss loved him, absolutely loved him. But he would put on a show for her. He would do everything that she told him to do and try to do it the best that he possibly could. And he talked to me about her, and I realized she knew. She knew that he wasn't confident, but she was grateful for all the work that he was doing. It was all inside of him. And one day he said, I don't know how to overcome this. What do I do? How do I stop showing up so weak at work? And I said, you need to stop running around trying to prove yourself all day. I said, why don't you go up to your boss and say, hey, I feel pretty inadequate at times, and so I'm trying to prove myself, and I don't want to do that anymore with you. Well, think about it. That's the last thing that his shame wants him to do. Go own his blemish, go deal with his imperfections with his boss. But that's what would create connection and honesty in that relationship with his boss. So he puts on a show. He pretends like he's not who he is. I've heard countless stories of the men that I work with going to the beach or the swimming pool, and their wife is in fear and they're saying, are you attracted to her? Are you attracted to her? And he says, no, not at all. I'm not at all. And it's not true. I had one guy that I was working with who experienced this, and there was a bunch of women that he was attracted to, and he went over to his wife and said, I'm not attracted to them. Everything's okay. I'm with you. I'm with you. And what do you know? At the end of the day, she felt completely unsafe. She didn't feel loved and cared for. Sounds backwards, because there he was saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. But what he needed to do was be confident and own who he actually was. Saying something like, yes, I'm attracted to them. Yes, they're there. I see them. And I love you. And I'm here with you. And I'm committed to you. So instead of putting on a show, instead of acting fake, show up confident and trust who you are, even when it comes to your own sexuality. Notice all the places in your life where you're showing up unconfident, and try to act against it. So like me, when I realized I was scared of rejection, when I realized that, I think that week I got like 5 girls' phone numbers. Now, I'm not saying that to brag. The point that I'm making is I learned that I needed to experience something different. So I put myself out there. I asked girls for their phone number. Same thing with you. If you're showing up unconfident in ways like lying to your spouse, then be honest. If you're showing unconfident in ways of like talking bad about yourself, being self-deprecating, then talk good about yourself. Compliment yourself. Do the opposite of what the shame and the fear is telling you and show up as a confident man. Doing it once is going to be scary, and it might blow up in your face. You might try to be a confident man and it all goes bad. And I'm here to tell you that you need to do it again anyways. Because you got to get yourself to a place where you can experience the okayness inside of you, regardless of people's rejection, regardless of people's judgment or abandonment of you. And I promise you, as you show up confident again and again, you'll start to trust yourself. You'll start to learn who you really are. And you'll start to gain that energy of confidence so you can show up confident with a woman. Lastly, and maybe the most important, is you need to connect to God. God will validate who you are as a man. God will help you understand your worth so that you're not needing a woman for your self-worth. When you don't need a woman for your self-worth, then you can show up confident with her. You can be who you actually are. So when she doesn't hold all that power and all that weight, you can show up in strength. Maybe you're confident in many other areas in your life. Maybe at work you're confident, or at church, or whatever it may be, but you're struggling with women. So I hope that hearing this is helpful for you to learn how to face some of the fears that you have and practice acting against those fears so that you can be confident in your relationships. I've been talking about confidence this whole time. That's how you get a woman to want you. The thing about it is you can't fake it, so you can't manipulate it. You can't say, I'm gonna show up confident and act like I am, and then she'll want me. You have to actually be confident. So if you want a woman to want you, then work on yourself, face your fears, face your shame so that you can show up in strength and confidence. If you're struggling with confidence, then you might have some secrets. You might have some things behind the scenes that are undermining your ability to be confident. If that's the case and you're struggling with an addiction, a sex addiction, then you need to check out my video, Why Treatment for Sex Addiction is Not Working. So click here.